Live from our studios, you're watching Fox Illinois News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Devin Truby. Multiple protests across the nation today, and as you can see on the screen behind me, this is over the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man who died in custody of Minneapolis police last Monday. Well, from Champaign to Springfield tonight, we're bringing you the latest developments on these protests here in Illinois. First, we head to Fox's Taylor Deckard, who's live in Champaign with the very latest. Taylor, what can you tell us about the scene that unfolded at the Marketplace Mall today?
At the Family Dollar off of Bradley Avenue here in Champaign, where looting has just occurred. Police officers were on scene, but they have already been called off to the next location where looting and riots are still happening. And it all started with a social media post. It started around 3 p.m. at the Marketplace Mall when rioters broke into Macy's and other stores and stole merchandise. Police were quick to arrive on the scene and formed a human barrier in front of the broken doors. Protesters continued to scream, yell, and try to speak with the officers. SWAT officers with the Champaign Special Weapons and Tactics teams arrived with crowd control substances, but had not made any moves on the crowd. The crowd was full of rioters, protesters, and those who want peace.
What you're seeing now is a group of people that are upset and hurting across the nation. Yes, we're hurt. Yes, we're upset. Yes, we've been marginalized. Yes, we've been murdered, and it's wrong.
Around 4:30, the crowd began to split up and broke into surrounding buildings, causing chaos in the streets. Since then, barricades have been put up and roads have been shut down as looting is still occurring at many businesses. Tomorrow, the Black Lives Matter organization here in Champaign is planning a peaceful protest at 3 p.m. at the courthouse. And this is something that the police are going to be just dealing with throughout the evening. And we just wish everyone a safe evening. And there is now a curfew in place that was started at 8 p.m. So stay safe, everyone. Reporting in Champaign, Taylor Deckard, back to you.
All right, thank you, Taylor. Continuing our team coverage, Sydney Dorner also in Champaign tonight with the damage report. Now, after that group left the Marketplace Mall, they dispersed into the city and tensions ran high. Sydney, what have you seen today?
Yes, I'm here in Champaign witnessing the escalating tensions between protesters and police departments. People flood an intersection across Prospect Avenue with signs and chants, and then it evolved into a looting of a local gas station and a standoff. I spoke with local protesters here saying this chaos is a result of long-standing distrust and mistreatment of black people from law enforcement.
Stealing a pair of shoes, a shirt, a watch is inadequate compensation for the loss of his life. They made his death seem like it wasn't, like his life wasn't of value. There's nothing wrong with a protest, but it has to be done responsibly.
Beers thrown at police cars, police spraying pepper spray, and the destruction of nearby properties, all part of a solidified frustration. More and more police are being sent out as madness unfolds across town. I'm Sydney Dorner here in Champaign. Back to you, Devin.
Thanks, Sydney. We will continue to cover protests across our viewing area. And the Champaign Chief of Police, Anthony Cobb, issuing a community trust statement on Friday saying he is deeply disturbed by the events in Minneapolis. The chief says all officers are required to attend classes in cultural competency, civil rights and human rights, and citizens sit in on use of force review committees. The statement in part reads, quote, "Not be afraid to have the difficult discussions about race and community police relations. It is my hope that incidents outside of our community do not take away from the tremendous work of the men and women of the Champaign Police Department." And happening here in Springfield, we've received reports of businesses being shut down as well as extra police on standby surrounding the capital city. We continue our team coverage with Fox's Noelle Ford. Noelle, what are you seeing out there?
Well, Devin, I'm standing here in front of the White Oaks Mall on the west side of Springfield. Now, I'm going to step out of frame so you can see it a little bit better. But as you can see, the mall is locked down right now. You can see police there with their barricades. Now, we were out here earlier, and there was a heavy police presence in front of Dick's Sporting Goods. Many businesses in Springfield decided to shut down early. Now, the neighborhood of Sherwood on the west side asked residents to lock their doors tonight. And the city of Springfield is also asking residents to stay inside tonight and to stay as safe as possible and not to leave unless there's an emergency. But for now, reporting live in Springfield, Noelle Ford, back to you.
Noelle, thank you for the update. Mayor Jim Langfelder and Police Chief Kenny Winslow today. The mayor of Springfield, Jim Langfelder, released a statement together. Most of us are aware of the senseless death of George Floyd and the fallout from his tragedy. As a result, we cannot help but think how far we have come and how far we still have to go in the police profession and as a country. This incident has the potential to turn back the clock and unravel the progress many departments and community have worked so hard to achieve. While we do not have all the information, enough has been released to show that this horrific act was preventable and heart-wrenching. Bottom line, our professions have to strive to do better. We can do better and must do better to avoid similar tragedies and strengthen all areas of our community. And across the nation, protests have broken out in more than 30 cities over the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man who died in custody of Minneapolis police Monday. Our sister station report protests in their home city. We bring you the latest.
Hi everybody, Delane Matthew here reporting from downtown San Antonio, where for the last 2 to 3 hours it has been a roller coaster of emotions. It started around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, a peaceful protest that lasted around 2 hours, and then once the sun went down, things turned very different very, very quickly. Behind me, members of SWAT are taking a breather, if you will, after hours and hours of facing protesters tonight. Dispensing all kinds of tear gas canisters and rubber bullets. So right now it looks like they're taking a breather, but they're not going to be resting for very long. I talked to one of them. They said it's going to be a long night. So that is the situation in downtown San Antonio. Delane Matthew reporting.
All right, in Columbus, Ohio, law enforcement fired tear gas, rubber bullets, and wood batons were also used, but the crowd would only move down the street. Now, there were chants towards police, but also cries from demonstrators encouraging others in the crowd not to throw items at police. After about half an hour, Columbus police moved in to make arrests. Now, officers said rocks had been thrown at authorities. Demonstrators were asked what a successful night would mean to them.
I think that having a big group is important. Make sure people are getting down here. I would like for it to stay peaceful. I would like to not vandalize because I think a lot of times it takes away from what we're doing.
Police haven't confirmed details on the number or reasons for arrests. And in Chicago, looting is happening across the city. You're looking at groups of people pulling items out of burned storefronts. Chicago police says 240 arrests were made Saturday, and at least 6 people have been shot and 1 is dead. Chicago Transit Authority announced they're suspending service Sunday evening, but will resume tomorrow, and a 9 p.m. curfew for the city remains in effect. Governor Pritzker issues a disaster proclamation for Cook County to expedite the use of state resources, personnel, and equipment to help keep Chicago safe. On Sunday, IEMA ordered a 24-hour closure of all community-based testing sites in Illinois to protect staff and patients, as Mayor Lori Lightfoot speaks out.
Watching various areas of the city and how there clearly was coordination. They were clearly listening to radio traffic. The number of U-Haul trucks that magically showed up in front of stores, car caravans that dropped people off who broke into windows and then were hustling the goods out into the backs of the cars. Absolutely, it was organized. There's no question whatsoever about that.
And here's the latest COVID-19 update for Illinois. An additional 60 people have died from COVID-19. Now that brings the total to more than 5,300, and there are more than 1,300 new COVID-19 cases, bringing that total to more than 120,000. Officials have administered more than 898,000 tests. And across the nation, the U.S. now has 1.7 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 with over 104,000 deaths. Over 416 patients have recovered, though, from the virus. And according to Johns Hopkins, over 16 million Americans have been tested for COVID-19. Still ahead on Fox Illinois News at 9, a look at today's peaceful protest in the capital city, the thoughts of one Springfield police officer on the events that have rocked the nation. Plus, we look into how the nation responds to these protests. And a showing of solidarity, law enforcement joining protesters. The details next.